Minister for Foreign Affairs of Uruguay.
Señor Presidente.
President, ladies and gentlemen, at this juncture today we are meeting for a vitally important event, the culmination of 3 years' hard work that will guide humanity towards the year 2030 on a path of shared goals. We are seeking to achieve lasting and sustainable development, overcoming once and for all the great scourges of poverty and hunger. We agreed together to do this, addressing simultaneously the right to quality of life of future generations and respecting the obligations imposed upon us by nature. We, Uruguay, are a small country. There is little that we could do were we to go it alone. Our reality is clearly shaped by the powerful forces of the market, with development models that we could never achieve and that our own country could not sustain. We need to change the development paradigm, therefore. We need to forge new, more humane and fairer models. That will, of course, be diverse in nature, reflecting the diversity of the cultures and the history that has molded us as individual nations. To achieve all of this, we turn to and repose our trust in the United Nations, and it is for this reason that we all reached agreement under its auspices on the post-2015 development goals, so that the development process that is crafted in every corner of the world will be sustainable and culturally sensitive, as well as respectful of the best traditions of peace and coexistence. The Sustainable Development Goals are cross-cutting, universal, broad and multidimensional, giving a perfect and unique opportunity to the international community to journey towards fairer and more inclusive societies that uphold the rights of individuals with special attention paid to the most disadvantaged and vulnerable. This entails meeting current needs without in any way compromising the options for future generations to satisfy their own future needs. We are therefore faced with a paradigm shift, agreeing common objectives and goals that, although each individual nation can feel they have a stake in, are nonetheless the responsibility of all. Poverty eradication, universal health access, prevention of disease, access to medicine, gender equality, universal access to education, and the protection of the environment are vital and fundamental and will require greater effort and new commitments from all of us. Uruguay is convinced that much can be done to prevent the deaths of thousands of women and children. For this reason, we believe that it is essential that we guarantee, as part of this effort, universal access to sexual and reproductive health. It is unacceptable that we continue to see hunger in so many corners of the world, whereas in other places countless tons of food is just thrown away. Changing this reality needs the adoption of urgent measures to change patterns of production, consumption, and market behavior. The agenda that we have set for ourselves provides a fitting framework to do just that. It would be remiss of me not to mention at this juncture the environmental challenges we face, an issue that transcends our national borders. We welcome the inclusion of this issue in the post-2015 agenda. If we do not have a healthy environment, then there can be no viable or feasible development. Uruguay has already been affected by climate change. We have shared our concern in the face of this phenomenon and our willingness to find a solution within the context of the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change. We believe that we need to implement global actions to mitigate the effects of climate change, and we're already doing so in Uruguay, making our own efforts focusing on the most vulnerable sectors and most excluded and marginalized sectors. Nonetheless, we would like to state categorically that those who have contributed in the main to climate change are those who are chiefly responsible for mitigating the causes thereof and for facilitating adaptation by those who most suffer the effects and ravages of climate change. Therefore, access to renewable energy, conservation of biodiversity, dealing with land degradation, sustainable management of chemical and related waste products which fundamentally affect the most vulnerable in society, are also key issues that must be delivered on if we want to ensure that sustainable development is possible. Uruguay has been a pioneer in recognizing that access to safe drinking water and to sanitation is and should be a human right. We have vigorously defended this human right in the past, and we are delighted to see that universal and fair access to safe drinking water is a core goal of the new post-2015 development agenda. Working to improve the quality of water and the efficient integrated use of water resources need to be key components of our action as we move forward. We cannot envision progress in the Sustainable Development Goals and Targets without the active participation of the whole of society. Successfully implementing the post-2015 agenda will require us to work hard and in partnership to overcome the challenges that we are faced with. The task of changing existing development models driven by profit and consumption is the only way of achieving what we have set together as our common goal in this agenda. We'd like to share with you all, therefore, here before you that this post-2015 agenda and its sustainable development goals can be achieved, that is our firmly held belief, if we address them and take them on entirely, recognizing that there are different paths that can be followed to achieve these goals. We believe that we must dream big and set sail on the right course to achieve the happiness of all. Before this august body, I would like to recall the words of our former president, José Pepe Mujica, at the Rio+20 conference when he declared before us all that the fight for the environment is synonymous with the fight for human happiness. And I would also like to share with you the words of our current president, Dr. Tabaré Vázquez, who, upon taking up his office, declared that development must be sustainable or it is not worthy of the name development. It is this commitment and this worldview that spurs us on in Uruguay. This is the example that we as a society seek to forge. Thank you very much, President.